Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Thrive in 5 podcast. I am your host, Amy Tyler, and thank you for joining me today, whenever it is, whether it's on your commute, on your lunch break, when you're doing your laundry, whenever it is, thank you for joining me. Now, I have just finished reading Onyx Storm, which is the third book, I think, in the Fourth Wing series. It's a romantasy book. I feel a bit weird as a grown-up woman reading books about like dragons and lots of like sort of 50 Shades stuff going on in it, but I love it. I find it very entertaining. It's a good way to switch off. And I'm not going to give a bunch of spoilers away, so do not switch off, don't worry. But in the Fourth Wing books, if you've not read them, there is this romantic tension between Violet and Xaden, they're kind of romantic leads. But it's one of those things where like they are constantly facing obstacles that keep them apart. Like just when you think, oh, finally it's going to be okay, something else comes up, whether it is like family stuff or politics or dragons or war or evil soul suckers, like all sorts of weird stuff comes up. It's one of those books that you try and explain it to people and you're like, this is not, I'm not selling it. It's a great book if you've not read it. But what it does feature is a lot of that tension, that classic tension that always comes up in romance novels of like or romantic comedies or anything like that, where there's something keeping the two leads apart. They know they want to be together, but there's always something that's coming up. And it got me thinking that it's very similar, that feeling of like no, like as a reader knowing that these two people need to be together and constantly being frustrated that something else comes up that stops them getting their happy ending. That's how a lot of professional women feel when it comes to trying to stay consistent with health and fitness when life is just busy. It always feels like there's you and there's your health and fitness, and then there's like work deadlines, family obligations, delayed trains, bad weather, like illness, all these things coming up that just pull you away from that end goal of being that healthy, happy version of yourself. It's something that I think we've all been through. I know for me, it's something that I recognize very deeply, and I see it with a lot of the women that I work with, that constant juggling act, trying to, balance work and your social life and just having your shit together, doing your ironing, though apparently I'm weird that I iron, I don't know. It can feel like there's no time to focus on your health and well-being. There's no time to focus on your diet. And it feels like everything you need to do from a health and fitness perspective is sucking your time away, and it's something you just don't have time for. And it feels like you can't do it, like you just can't stay consistent, because every time you feel like you've got a clean week or you've got space and time to do it, something else comes up and you go to meal prep and then your vegetables are off or whatever it might be. I hear you. It's a horrible feeling when you feel like you just can't find that consistency, you just can't find that time in your diary to focus on it. But here is the thing, just because you're busy doesn't mean you can't prioritize your health, because it is easy to think, because social media and like influencers online and what other people say, it's easy to think that you need hours in the gym or a perfectly organized week or like loads of glass Tupperwares in your fridge in order to be healthy, in order to diet. You need all of this stuff, all of this time. And that mindset holds so many women back from actually losing weight, because the reality is your life is busy. You have a lot of stuff going on. And that's not going to change. Life will never slow down. But that doesn't mean that we can't find a way to lose weight and to prioritize your health around the stuff you have going on. We can't build that stuff into your plan rather than trying to have a perfect plan and then have to account for it after the fact. The key is about finding those pockets of time and making those small, manageable changes, those small things, making those small steps in the moment. So, for example, something I hear a lot when people jump on board with me is I'll say, like, look, I just don't have time to do a workout. I don't have time to go to the gym. Like, I've just not got time for it. So there's no point. Like, there's no point me even trying to do exercise. I don't have time to go to the gym. When actually, it's not about the time you don't have. It's about how you use the time that you do have, because you might not have time to do an hour's workout. I hear you. Like, I don't think any of my clients do workouts for an hour during the working week anyway, unless they want to. You might not have time to do an hour's workout. I hate training for an hour. It's way too long for me, but you might have time to do a 30-minute workout. You might have time to do a 15-minute workout. You have time. It's about using the time that you have the way that works. One small choice, one small step forward is progress. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having this like really perfect plan, having this clear calendar. It's about doing something every day that moves you forward. And when one of the first shifts that we do within the TFP is actually challenging you to think, rather than thinking, I don't have time, actually thinking, what can I do with the time that I have? Because even the busier schedule can fit in small impactful actions. It might not be 10,000 steps a day. It might not be meal prepping every meal, but it might be going for a quick 5-minute walk after you've been to the loo before you go to your next meeting, and it might be getting a salad from prep rather than the mac and cheese. Because when you make those small changes and when you do those small actions, they all add up over time. It's a bit like interest in an account. The interest on one day doesn't make a massive difference, but over the course of months and years, the interest in your account compounds, and at the end of the day, when you go and look at that account, you suddenly got a load of money in there. At least that's what I'm hoping happens. I can keep dreaming, because when you keep making those small actions, eventually you will get there. Just like, well, probably maybe not like in my book, where the romantic leads never get together, but every time they fight through those obstacles, yes, something else keeps coming up, but they keep on fighting through the obstacles and they keep moving forward and they get one step closer to being together. I hope by the end of the 5th book, Xaden and Violet might be together. Who knows? I hope so. So what I'm trying to say before I got distracted by talking about Fourth Wing is life will always be busy. There are always going to be challenges, but that doesn't mean you don't have time to diet. When you make small intentional actions every day, those actions have a huge difference over time. They might not feel like much in the moment, but if you can shift your mindset from I don't have time to actually what can I do with the time that I've got, you will keep moving forward. You will do what you need to do. The key is to show up, even when you feel like the universe is throwing obstacles in your path, when you feel like every time you go to do something, life just goes, nope, not happening. Keep looking for options, keep looking for alternatives. You will get there. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes, and do pop this episode over to a friend if you know somebody who's feeling a little bit overwhelmed. It would be great to kind of share the love. Remember that no matter how packed your calendar looks this week, you can still show up for yourself. You can still make progress. Keep moving forward, and I will see you in the next episode.